Lesson 1. Basics. Installing and configuring the ST software. Hello and welcome to another lesson. In this lesson I will show you how to install and configure the ST software. But before we will start, you have to remember that ST software works only on Windows operating system, and it has to be at least in version 8, and it has to be 64-bit. However, if you are using, for example, Apple computer and you are having Mac OS, you still can run application even if your processor is M1 or M2. But for that purpose, you have to use so-called virtual machine. For example, Parallels Desktop, and here you can see the link under which you can take even the trial version to see if that works fine for you. I personally use ST on my Mac OS and it works brilliant. For those of you who are using other operating systems, for example Linux, there's also a way to run ST software. However, you will have to use a different virtual machine, for example Wine. And where to download or buy the application? So the demo version, which is fully operational and the only restriction is that you can run simulation on 10 years period, is available on the link systemtrader.show/st. If you want to get the full license, then you can go to my online shop at systemtrader.show/shop. And once you have downloaded the installation file, the only thing you have to do is double click on it, then you have to accept the agreement and just follow the instructions, and after a few seconds you are ready to go. It may happen that you will be asked to restart your computer, and after that you can run application. So let's move to my computer. And here is the ST software, and this is the main window. Before you will start using it, you may be interested in configuring it. And for example, go to menu file and to licensing. If you have your license key and you want to activate the software, then simply click on the active full version button and provide the key. And then afterwards, application will switch into the full mode. But even if you don't have the license key, you still can use this course to see how application works and to learn its features. Another interesting place to see is the settings. Here you have some settings which you may set in your application. For example, if you are interested about exporting all the simulations results into some external file, for example Excel file, then you may define here the folder in which you want to store all these files. And by the way, you can see that I'm using Mac OS. Another interesting feature is the font size. For example, if you want to increase or decrease the size of the font, you can do it here. By default, application is in the so-called dark mode, fluent dark. But if you want to switch application into some blue color or some lighter color, you can change the theme here. Also, you can change language. If English is not your language and you know Polish, as I do, you can switch into Polish. Another interesting setting is automatic update. If you have some data which you downloaded to application, for example your ETF or maybe some stocks, and they were downloaded through the sources which are supported by the application, for example the built-in data source from the unicorn company or Yahoo or Stook, then you basically can select the folder or data group, as it's called here, which you want to update every time when the application starts. So imagine that you have, for example, ETFs which are listed on American stock exchanges, and you want to make sure that you will have always the updated data. Whenever you start application, all the ETFs which are in that group will be updated. So basically you can just import data once and you don't have to remember about updating it because you will always have the latest data. Another interesting thing may be for you if your computer is behind so-called proxy server. For example, if you are working in the corporation or some institution and the network is behind the proxy, you have to specify here the settings of the proxy server. And if you don't know how to set it up, I suggest to contact your local administrator of the network, and most likely he or she will be able to help you. And this is it. You are ready to start our course and learn how to be a better investor using the System Trader application. Thank you very much for your time and see you in the next lesson.